Brooks, and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available, and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Killing 15 Minutes. This episode does not have murder, at least not directly known by courts or the public. However, right now, this has been a case that has become huge for people more than when he was put on trial, when he died, and then with the 2024 election that has one convicted felon running on a platform of transparency and then needing an act of Congress to release what he totally promised and marketed. I'm Sam Rossi, reading a script researched and written by A.J. Carey, who's famously blocked by several key political figures. How many people have you pissed off, bro?
Everyone, but it's Twitter, so it's really easy, and 90% of them aren't humans.
Or they're paid to be that person.
Or they're paid to be that way.
There was a show I was watching that had it be where they were... Oh, it was The Game? And he paid somebody to be a social media...
Well, everyone pays for a social media person, but yes.
But then they had a feud. They made it seem like two people are having a feud. They didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny to watch.
Well, that's kind of actually why I think the 2020s is a terrible place when it comes to social media, is because we no longer have, there's only the sex bots. It was annoying. And even right now, we always get the, hello, we are promoting podcast. You give money. We make podcasts big. Billions of views. Bots, but now you have people who are just, because you can have up to 3 accounts that you can view on browser.
Right.
So at the very least, you have a lot of people who have 3 accounts. But then you also have 40 to 60% that are just paid bots. Or you have people in a call center in India who are being paid to social media platform. Or Russia. You have all this. It is so fake. It's not even the, I bet they're not like that in real life kind of fake. It's you turn into the meme of the person pointing back down the row of planes. You may not know what the hell I'm talking about, but she's in a plane and she's just pointing and going, that person isn't real. Sam doesn't internet well.
I don't internet well.
It's going to be a blanking 15-minute episode soon where it's just teaching Sam the internet.
I don't like the internet. People are on the internet. Stupid people. However, we promised that in our discourse, because ultimately, while this is a true crimes podcast, this crime is true, but the amount of misinformation, disinformation, and overall transparency is mixed at best. Also, please note that while we dislike the self-appointed king of America, and yes, he keeps having official federal accounts sharing that he's emperor, so it's not really fake news. I missed the day when The Onion was funny. This is not about him. This is not about Trump or Clinton or whichever side you think he catered to. This monster catered to the rich and the privileged, regardless of political leanings. If they could pay, they could play. This episode is the first in a 4-part series on Jeffrey Epstein and the system that enabled his crimes. Before the abuse was exposed, before the investigation, before the plea deals and the unanswered questions, there was something else. Access. This is the story of how Jeffrey Epstein built power and why that power proved so difficult to challenge. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953. His mother worked as a school aide and homemaker, while his father worked as a gardener and groundskeeper for the New York City's Park and Recreations Department. No, Jeffrey wasn't born into wealth. There was no family fortune and no elite pedigree. Now we are not going to entertain the anti-Semitic thoughts that Republicans get when Jews are mentioned. For the same reason, we won't touch on the fact that Jeffrey grew up in Seagate, a gated community on Coney Island, with a population of 99% whites at the time. Either way, he went to public school, was fairly smart, kind, and like most criminals, he knew how to get people to like him when he was a kid in public school. Eppy was indeed smart, or at least clever, even how schools really operated, and graduated at 16 from Lafayette High School. Yes, the one in Brooklyn, not the one in CNY that's only like maybe a half hour away from us. Oh, and that was in 1969. Nice.
Could you say that less robotically?
No. And then went on to Copper Union, then NYU, which is New York University, where he left without graduation in 1974. Although it's something to say he was, at least in the generals. We aren't cool enough to get his report cards or anything. Eppy was pretty great with numbers.
If you want to rephrase all that.
I don't think anyone who wasn't, would go to a class in mathematical physiology if they weren't.
I mean, yeah, I don't even know what the hell mathematical physiology is.
Dude, do you remember what Ted Kaczynski's mathematical degree was in?
No. Wasn't it applied sciences?
It applied geometrical something.
Oh, okay.
Because you asked me what it was, and I looked at you and said, I don't know.
No, actually, if I remember rightly,
I go, it's about...
You put the term in the definition.
Totally did.
It's geometry of math, man.
It was a decent enough transcript for him to become a math and physics teacher at the Dalton School on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. In fairness, allegedly, the headmaster had also taken a few wild swings in the unconventional hiring department. At least according to Susan Simmel's The Dalton Story, the transformation of a progressive school, well, actually, according to a fantastic NPR article in 2021, that cites that.
I'm sorry, I did not read an entire history of the Dalton School for this show. The name itself says I will not enjoy it.
You should go donate to NPR because the Federal Corporation of America hates anything that's not owned by a shyster that pays to play. Wow, it took AJ till 2 whole pages to get political. More restraint than I thought he would.
Donate to fucking NPR.
Go for PBS. Get PBS back.
Okay? Sesame Street deserves our love and attention.
So does Daniel Tiger. So does Zoom.
The entire Fred Rogers
life.
The Fred Rogers Company. That would be Daniel Tiger. Odd Squad, I think was, but I think Odd Squad got canceled. Point is, PBS, especially the kids area, is a lot more than whatever the fuck our current federal administration thinks it is, so that they can have more fucking planes. And I'm not talking about more military planes. I'm talking about we are about to spend $1.7 billion for the U.S. to pay for Trump's new Air Force One. That he has it written that he gets to take it back with him when he leaves office.
Is he paying for it?
No, the U.S. taxpayer is.
How do we have, hold on, explain to me. We've had 2 wars. We've bombed 2 people.
We've bombed a lot more than 2 people.
Actually, you're right. We've bombed 12 people because there was somebody who said he is the most bombing president so far.
The thing is that Obama dropped a lot of drone strikes, but
in an area.
Yes, whereas he has. Anyways, we're not talking about him. We're talking about his best friend.
Well, Epstein became a private school teacher even without a private... So Epstein became a private school teacher even without a college degree. Dalton catered to children of the wealthy, the influential, and the well-connected. He was also liked by the staff and students, especially the students, since there was a lot of interviews from former students that said Epstein was always surrounded by female students. However, no one has ever come out to say that he was ever inappropriate with any of them. Outside of some questionable activities like being at a party while all the underage kids were drinking.
It's an unverified story.
Well, frankly, if you're being interviewed decades later about a former teacher, you may either embellish or have a slight skew of that memory. He was, at the very least, popular with the kids. I'd say poor choice of words, but we're talking about F-Fuck. F-Fuck learned something crucial in this role, though. Power doesn't announce itself. Real power circulates quietly, through introductions, favors, and trust. And that's when Alan Greenberg comes into the picture, the CEO of Bear Stearns, who met and became acquainted with F-Fuck after a parent-teacher conference about Greenberg's daughter. That was lucky, too, because in 1976, F-Fuck was dismissed from Dalton and would transition over to work at, you guessed it, Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns. Honestly, from what we know about him, numbers and math were something he just got. He was able to go from a low-level assistant to a floor trader to become an options trader. Although it seemed he was much more influential by aiding in the recovery of stolen assets, mainly getting it back from fraudsters. While he was being styled and profiled, limousine riding, jet flying, ass stealing,
kiss stealing,
wheeling and dealing son of a gun was a day trader, there's something slightly founded, though cannot be outright be verified, that F-Fuck had met and recruited
Epstein.
F-Fuck.
No, because now you are pushing us to where this is going to be fully demonetized. We have a chance before the swearing. I'd like us monetized once on killing 15 minutes.
We're monetized all the way through.
No, not on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube is a different story. Alright, anyways, where the hell is Eppy? Cannot be outright verified that Eppy had met and recruited into assisting Western intelligence agencies. He has known associates with defense contractor Douglas Lease, as well as the U.S. Attorney General at the time. We know this part because these two introduced him to Stephen Hoffenberg, who has become important in a moment. There's definitely something there, as Epstein had a fake passport out of Austria, where he had a residence in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, he had a fake passport out of Austria while he was being a resident in Saudi Arabia. I realized I couldn't phrase that sentence in any logical way, so I knew I would have to say this part.
Okay. Hell, one of his known clients at the time was
Adnan Khashoggi,
who was the middleman running weapons from Israel to Iran in the whole Iran-Contra fiasco. I have no recollection of that.
Well, but that's one of the interesting things I didn't know about. Was that he has... I knew about the island, I knew about all of his other properties, all the rape, and the Victoria's Secret thing we're about to talk about. Well, not just talk about, but we'll get into. I never realized that he actually was also a money man for the Iran-Contra fiasco.
I didn't realize that either. Interesting. That means he's been dealing with the government
since at least the 80s, yeah.
Huh.
See, that is where my brain went, oh my god, I think I have new conspiracy theories.
Yeah, my brain just, oh fuck. There's so many options now.
Well, because it's one thing.
Oh my god.
I only pictured him on the luxury sex trafficking ideology range. Because that's what everyone talks about. But you know why everyone talks about that section? For the same reason that everyone only goes, hey, Epstein Island, am I right? Well, he had 2 islands. He had 9 properties. All of them have been linked to sex trafficking. But no one ever goes, hey, have you gone, was Trump at his Palm Beach mansion ever?
What about out in Saudi Arabia?
What about Manhattan? What about his France location? What about his New Mexico location? His California location? The dude had...
Florida. No,
that would be Palm Beach. Springs. It's Palm Beach, not Palm Springs.
Okay, yeah.
But it's still Florida.
I understood what you said. I
don't worry, more on Palm Beach in the next episode. This is only the not sex-related stuff.
To spoil a future episode a little, a main reason that Alexander Acosta, who was the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida during the first major case buildup, that fizzled out and hard in 1919.
That's
Wow. 2007.
none of those none of those numbers are 19, Sam.
Nope, none of those numbers were 19. Went on record during the transition to Trump's first presidency in 2016 that he was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. It was above his pay grade.
I think that's interesting. Especially given our current, the U.S. currently being rammed hard by Israel. And by that I mean, we not just bend the knee, we also cradle the balls.
This could be substantiated by Epstein's later life working in surveillance and spending 2012 through 2014 working alongside former Israeli Prime Minister. Which Israeli Prime Minister?
I say his name in a later episode. I cannot recall it right now. Oh yes, nope. I bring his name up later. We talk about that later.
Okay. So working alongside former Israeli Prime Minister to secure partnerships and land on the Ivory Coast and Mongolia for monitoring stations and to expand their surveillance capabilities. Mongolia?
Yeah.
Huh. Granted, Epstein was famously said that he was helping Elon Musk find a new CEO for Tesla in 2018 when Musk was yet again under investigation from the SEC, which still happens and nobody talks about it.
No one talks about it, of course not.
This is strictly a comparison to show that Epstein did not draw the line at who he worked with, white nationals and Zionists alike.
Just saying.
Well, you never piss off the money, and if you can find the money...
Oh, no, Epstein was the money.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Slightly, it was lampshading a little anti-Semitic, Sam.
It would, in fact, make a lot of sense, but we'll get into that conspiracy a little bit later, particularly since he would eventually become a political equivalent of flypaper. No, let's continue before the main crime we all know him for. In 1987, Hoffenberg would hire Epstein as a consultant for the Towers Financial Group, and through a collections firm, it would also become well-known corporate raider. Even though it failed at that.
It tried, by failed corporate raider, they tried buying Pan Am and failed. They bought, and pretty much any time they went for a high profile, this corporation's up for sale, we'll try and buy it. They would not.
Well, that sucked for him. Epstein would leave in 1989 and just round out that part of his life. In 1994, Towers Financial was ousted as being the tip of a massive Ponzi scheme, having lost $1 billion in today's money for investors. While Hoffenberg would try to pull Epstein in, Epstein was never charged, though he was easily a pillar of the company before he left, and he would have been paid handsomely with money the company stole from investors. While the towers were burning down, Eppy started J. Epstein & Company in 1988, right before leaving. The mission statement was fairly clear. It was a company designed to manage the assets of clients with over $1 billion in net worth. Although the only publicly known client that fit that bill would be Leslie Wexner, chairman and CEO of Victoria's Secrets and L Brands, which is now Bath Body Works LLC. Really?
Yeah. Which is, now finish the sentence.
Which also gave me the answer to where all those Limited 2 stores disappeared to.
L Brand owned the business besides the Limited. They also had Limited 2. Remember the Limited 2 stores?
Yeah, we had one
clothing brand. We did. They vanished because they were selling off. Limited brand got sold off because Limited 2 was Victoria's Secret also.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, didn't I say something and Limited?
Yes, Victoria's Secrets. Yeah. I knew the dude.
They were technically all one brand, but then they started getting sold off by equity broker. Every late stage capitalist final run. You get sold to a financial firm, and they cut you up and sell you for parts.
That sounds about right.
That's why Bath and Body Works still exists, but Limited 2 does not.
Makes sense. Oh, the reason it's public that Wexner was Epstein's client is because by 1991, Epstein had untangled a lot of bad financial decisions from Wexner, so naturally Wexner gave Epstein power of fucking attorney.
You guys, I really wish we were recording this because Sam's face reading this entire thing, outside of when she gets kerfluffled by words, has been new information. Oh my fucking god.
Do you know the more information, the more some of those conspiracy theories are changing in my fucking head?
Hey, remember when you were all, oh man, I gotta stop. I had to start randomly 15 minutes. I was agreeing with Ted Kaczynski. By the end of this, I didn't agree with Epstein, but I understood Epstein. So anyways, power motherfucking attorney.
For anyone who does not know how big a deal it is, this means Epstein effectively could do whatever he wanted financially and even business level. He can hire people, fire people, sign checks, buy and sell properties. It's better than a blank check. And anyways, officially he made $200 million in that, but come on. He really didn't need to be paid to have a lifestyle he wanted when everything is business. But he was always involved in funding and investment business, even until his final arrest. Yes, I'm counting out the dives into liquid funding fail, or not being able to buy New York Magazine, or Radar, or Cardin,
I think. I don't know. Or Cardine?
Cardine,
It was one of the surveillance things.
Cardine, then. The guy was still a businessman on top of everything he was doing below deck. Here's a bit of a hard part to really get into because the 90s had Epstein's lifestyle signaling enormous wealth. The Manhattan Mansion, his Palm Beach estate, hell, he had over a dozen residents worldwide, private planes, and his most famous island technically had two, which a lot of people think is the only place that the human trafficking happened. But that's the best way to limit everybody's involvement. The flight logs show he never went to the island, therefore he was not a
pederast
who raped a 13-year-old girl with his 2-inch dick.
I don't. That's just a hypothetical. I'm not saying who it was. I'm just saying he has a small penis and he keeps invading people. And right now we're going to go to war with NATO because he thinks that we deserve Greenland.
We are. You know, I've been told my entire life World War III was going to happen.
Yeah.
That is 39 years.
I just never realized America was going to be the instigator.
German. We are Germany, guys, in both fucking world wars. We are Germany. Everything we do is going to have it where our asses are being attacked. But no, we have to go be the police of everybody fucking else. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Maybe Epstein's a bad idea.
I would like to say that it is actually a wicked surprise that America, Russia, and Israel are the axis of power for World War III. It's fucking weird.
Are we really allied with... We're going to end up allied with freaking Russia?
We've been allied with Russia. Sam!
Oh my god.
You really are behind the times on fucking Trump, aren't you?
No, I thought we weren't... never mind.
He fucking blew Putin in Alaska like 3 months ago.
Was that 3 months ago?
I don't know. 2025 was a fucking decade.
You know what? This decade has been fucking decade after decade after decade.
Okay. However,
it's been 50 years since COVID started.
We're only talking about Epstein.
But yes, these homes weren't just real estate. They were leverage. His homes became meeting places where academics, politicians, business leaders, and celebrities cross paths. In elite spaces, association becomes validation, and validation becomes protection. Throughout his career, Epstein positioned himself as a philanthropist. He donated to universities, funded research, attached his name to institutions that carried intellectual prestige. This served at two main purposes, if we really think about this logically. First, despite the tax break he got from moving his assets to the U.S. Canary Islands, it still helped his businesses and personal lives take a massive tax break. Secondly, it created legitimacy, and legitimacy discouraged questions. Not wrong.
No, but I'm glad you were able to read that like an adult.
I'm going to stab you still. He opens his mouth, and sometimes I just want to stab him, guys. I don't know what it is. When someone is surrounded by respected institutions, skepticism becomes impolite, even reckless if they are that big. In the environment he lived in, scrutiny doesn't disappear, it's redirected, from the person with power towards those without. Jeffrey Epstein didn't begin with unchecked power. He built it, step by step, through access, credibility, and silence. In the next episode, the first allegations emerge, and we'll examine what happened when those warning signs built to the point where they couldn't be ignored. And how, even then, accountability was negotiated away. So come back next week when we get into Eppy becomes famous for, or rather, the first big case against him. One of us may have to rant about that, I'm sure. It might be me.
I don't know. I think now we're going to get into the meat of it so you have something to focus on versus naming all the names like we did in this one.
Yeah.
So I think we might actually keep it under 15 minutes next week.
Well, I'm hoping to be able to drop this down under 20.
I don't see it. So please remember to like, share, follow, do all the stuff that appeases the great algorithm. We are up on YouTube now with a little bit more editing or visual editing so you can see pictures stuff, but we're starting all the way back at the beginning. So we've got 150 episodes before you even reach Epstein. What am I missing? Follow us on socials, do all this stuff. Please share.
Check out our Patreon for unedited versions.
And also please check out our Patreon for unedited versions. And there's no way this is going to get monetized. Most of Killing 15 Minutes has not been monetizable. So please, it's a $5 tier. You get unedited. You get to yell at us in our community. You get all the cool stuff. And soon, maybe stickers.
Hey, I got a few in my head that I want to draw up when I do clip art.
Cool.
All right. I'm San Rossi.
And I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Keep on carrying on.
C-A-R-E-Y.
Right.
Because
Carry On Production.